Looking over the list of your scholarly achievements, I was struck by the commitment to ancient Greece. Tell me what got you hooked, and what is your favorite word in Greek?
Oh, thank you. Helikia, time of life. Certainly one of my favorites. Socrates says it in his defense in the courtroom, saying that at age 70, at his time of life, he is a stranger to the courtroom, has never been there, and that they must forgive him if he speaks in an idiom which is not their own. I'd better be careful or I will recite the apology for the next 15 minutes. I was teaching at Brandeis University. I was a graduate student. I was in my early 20s, and I was teaching as a teaching assistant. Professor Alan Grossman was teaching humanities core curriculum for the whole undergraduate community, not just for majors. And these courses were incredibly compelling, more interesting than anything I was doing in graduate school proper, though it was very good indeed. And I realized these texts go on forever. These texts are endlessly generative, and that's the quality to which we all aspire. Seems to me I had better do whatever I can to get as much access to these texts as possible, and learned ancient Greek in New York City at the Latin Greek Institute, City University of New York, founded in 1973 by Floyd Moyland, Rita Fleischer, Hardy Hansen, and the late Gerald Quinn, where you can, in 10 weeks, learn either classical language if you do nothing but that.
Wow. And a favorite word?
Helikia, time of life, as for instance, youth, menopause, puberty, what Auden called that time of life where one is not old but already begins to resent the young, and so on.
Can you say the word again for us? Teach us.
Helikia. And this is also Brendan's thunder, because unlike me, he actually hails from the Hellenic world.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jamey. Brendan, it's a combination of two questions. One is from Danielle and Mitchell, and the other one, who mentions the erotical light bulb? Does anybody want to claim this question? Okay, there we go. Oh, what's your name? Okay, she says, in regard to the title of your poetry collection, Letters to Guns, have you ever fired one? And if so, what type of gun and under what circumstances? And Daniel wants to know, what was the inspiration for this work?
Wow, holy shit, okay.
But concise.
Yeah, concise, okay. Okay, well, I'll answer it in reverse. I was getting lost on the internet, which is a great place to do that. And I was researching something, and one of the things that I love about the internet is that it's this huge forest, and that just keeps growing and growing, almost in direct proportion to the forests that we're cutting down. And I get lost in there all the time. And I was searching for something, I've forgotten what, and I ended up at the classified ad section of Guns magazine, which was called Letters to Guns. And for a moment, I really thought, like, no. People are not, like, writing letters to guns. I mean, this is, like, too far, you know. And then when I discovered that they weren't, you know, they were really just writing to each other, basically saying, you know, which guns, you know, they said things like, don't you think, you know, Walter PPKs are gay? You know, I mean, they were like stuff. It was really spectacularly uninteresting. I started. Well, what if you could write a letter to a gun? I mean, certainly we have a great deal to say to them, and so that's how it started. And it started with one poem. I didn't think I would do a project. I didn't think I would do a bunch of these letters, but then letters started appearing, and I thought that I would write these letters, and instead of writing them from people, they would be written from other objects. And so that these letters appear at different points in time. There's one during the Civil War, the French Revolution, and so on, going all the way up to, there's one, I think one of the latest is like in San Bernardino in the 90s. And the earliest one is during the Han Dynasty in China, before there even are guns. It's written to a pot of gunpowder from a pot of ink. And but no, actually, I have never actually fired a gun. On one occasion, though, and this is great, because this comes with its own awkward silence. In the period of time that I was mentioning in the last poem, I did put one to my head. which was really fascinating. You think it's like this is the last thing you should share, like with a room full of people. But I put a 38 special, I'm told, to my head to see what it would be like. And I thought, wow, like I could really like blow my brains out. Drugs, I accidentally took a lot of drugs before this happened. But the thing is, I was at this guy Dave's house, and it occurred to me, and I almost did it, and the reason I didn't blow my brains out that night was because it occurred to me that if I did it, Dave would get in so much trouble. And he almost certainly would not be allowed to have friends over again, right? Furthermore, the guys I was hanging out with, I thought they're such geniuses, they'll probably try to like hide the body or something, and, you know. So that was my closest gun experience, but it's not exactly target practice, but, you know, what can I tell you? A little bit. It's getting to know you, getting to know all about you, everybody.
Can I add
yes.
something to that? To that same question, the poem in Letters to Guns that's from the broadsword is also exquisite. The one in which the boot waxes eloquent is also a heavy hitter, but my favorite in the book is the one that Brendan mentioned a moment ago from the Han Dynasty ink pot to the pot of gunpowder, which closes. We will die on the same day. This is ink speaking to gunpowder, and it to my mind occupies the same area in logical space and is of the same artistic order as Einstein's. I don't know how we're going to fight World War III, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and with stones.
Oh, by the way, that book is available tonight. But the reason I'm mentioning it actually is that my publisher has donated copies to the event. So if you do buy Letters to Guns, all the profits go to Indelible Ink.
And Indelible Ink can use the help, so we appreciate that. This same young woman whose birthday I think it is, yes? They want to know, Brendan, it's hard for me to read this. What hair products do you use to make your head look like an erotical light bulb?
It was funny because prior to getting into the poetry simulator, I was an hour under the dryer getting it to set just this way. There's a product that came out after Gee, Your Hair Smells Terrific called Gee, Your Head Smells Terrific, which and I think I'm the only person buying this right now. Also, there's a person who reads the poetry of L. Ron Hubbard over it before I go out, and it sort of gets this sort of cold, dead sheen, and apparently it's not that I'm bald. It's just my hair is clear, so.
Okay, superhero. All right. I really didn't expect that he would have an answer to that. Okay.
Neither did I.
Jamey, which of your 7 deadly sins do you most relate to? And this is from Justin Kibbe. And when did you develop that sin?
Pride up until like a year and a half ago. Now lust from here on out. That's it. Pride up until recently. Lust henceforward, as far as I can tell.
Lust. Okay, and I hear you have children.
One super awesome thing.
All right. Okay, Eric says that we're running out of time, and actually we're over time. So I've got one more for each of you. This is from Follomy Xavier for Jamey. Is there a current event or person that has inspired you that is inspiring you to write another book or one-man show? Is there something happening now that you want to get your hands on? Or your pen on?
Get written now is a book of short stories about a character called Tim the Immortal Giraffe, who is Jewish, but he was born in the Pleistocene, so it doesn't really mean anything because it's like avant la lettre, big time, you know.
These are really good stories, by the way.
Thank you so much. The first one was in the spring 2010 issue of American Short Fiction, and I'm trying to get an agent or an editor for these stories and get them written, and that's what I'm doing, inspired by the general breakdown of our civilization, I suppose. That's a current event, right? There you go.
Okay, last word, Brennan, and then Jamey, and each of the other artists, if you can just chime in. One word, your favorite word in the English language. Brendan. Only one.
Well, it's kind of, okay.
One.
Well, I can't. Okay, it appears as one in some places. I have favorites all the time. Right now, for some reason, it sounds really beautiful to me. Barcode. Sounds lovely to me. I don't know why.
Jamey.
I've always been partial to Tusk.
Jaha. I. Okay. And Renee.
Plethora.
I love that word too. Plethora. Rich.
Indelible.
A man after my own heart.
That's how you get invited back.
I'm out here with Tusk.
Is Puck about? Is our wandering marionette about? No. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight at Indelible Ink. Thank you.